5th grade. I had just been in China for 2 years. I was doing Kung Fu and got into a lot of fights, so I thought I was really tough. Now, the difference between my toughness and the kids who sort of were hood tough, as you call them, is they had much better hands than I did. But I didn't know that because how I would win a lot of my fights back when I was in China, I'd kick a lot. This kid right here, Jose, he was the toughest kid in my 5th grade. This picture doesn't really show his vibe, so I had to go into my 8th grade yearbook to show you the vibe he projected. Look at this. This was the vibe that he projected. So this is Jose. That's the vibe he had in 5th grade that wasn't captured in my 5th grade yearbook. Jose just had amazing hands. I don't know if he took boxing lessons or he had a cousin or an uncle or a dad or someone that just taught him how to throw hands, but he was really quick. The thing about his punches, they weren't super telegraphed, and they were quick from different angles. I remember one time I saw him get into a fight with another really tough kid on the soccer field, and he was just hitting the kid from so many different angles. It was quite inspiring. I saw the fight, I was like, wow, this Jose guy, man, he's not some guy I can just fight and win an easy victory. My personality back in the day, whenever someone was considered really tough, there was something in the back of my mind, it's like, come on, man, I don't believe you should be treated with so much fear just because you're tough, right? You have to be a good person. You can't just be tough and everyone just kind of bows down to you. So I had a disrespect towards Jose. One time I remember, and that's why this is so cool to have the yearbook. This was Josh. He was in my class. He was a Cambodian kid. And one time Josh and Jose tried to throw hands. Now Josh was bigger than me, but Josh had no hands. So Jose was just really wailing on Josh, beating him. But since I didn't like Jose, after Jose beat up Josh, I said to Jose, I said, you can't beat up Josh. And Jose turned to me, he's like, did you just see what happened? Did you see what happened, dude? You think I can't beat up Josh? Jose kind of started realizing that I didn't respect him. I didn't like him the way that maybe some of the other tough kids in school. Now, I wasn't a tough kid, right? I was more of a class clown than anything. Jose knew I didn't really have that sort of fear or reverence towards him that maybe some other kids that age would have towards people who can really fight. I think a few days or maybe a few weeks after I see Jose beat up Josh, I see Jose recess again, just throwing hands with people. I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to test him. So Jose, he had that kind of boxer type of hands, right? His hands were here. So he had his hands here, and he had the head movement and everything. The way I fought back in the day, because of my Kung Fu, I had blocks, and I had kicks, and I had chops and elbows. I didn't really do straight punches because I wasn't good at it, and a lot of the Kung Fu training didn't have this type of snap thing that you have in boxing punches. I needed to indicate to Jose I wanted to spar him a little, right? So like, how do I do it? I can't just walk in with my face revealed. So I sort of walk in, sort of copying their boxing type of guard. You know, I have my hands up like this too. And I was like this. Jose sees me. So he comes over and I'm like, okay, it's about to start. Jose throws a jab. Of course, I see that jab. So I either evade it or I pull back so it doesn't get to me. But I am not used to someone with hands that quick with a second punch. So after the jab, Jose throws to my body, which is also something I'm not used to because at our age, we're usually punching the head, right? So he throws a downward strike to my body and catches me completely by surprise and hits me right here. Right here. This is the pelvic bone. The front of the pelvis is called the ilium, I believe it's called. So it hit the iliac crest. So it hit me right there. I still remember how hard it felt because it hits the bone and then it kind of spreads the rest of the pelvis and it goes up the abdomen a little. Because I've been hit before because I got in a lot of fights when I was in China and even before. So I was able to kind of fake that I didn't hurt. And he sort of backed off and he didn't keep fighting me. I didn't celebrate that as a victory. I was just like, ow, this hurts so bad. I'm never going to test Jose again. And it hurt so bad that I was like, oh my God, did he hit my appendix? I was like, did he explode my appendix? I was that scared. I was hurting that bad for the rest of the afternoon. Years later, I start sparring more in boxing, kickboxing, and I start learning what it feels like to hit different areas of the body. For any of you who sparred, you know, sometimes whether a kick, a shin, a foot, a palm, a backhand, a fist, if you hit the wrong part of someone's body, you actually hurt yourself more. One part of the body that actually is much tougher than you think is the pelvis. I don't know if any of you have done this. I've done this many times in sparring where I've kicked someone's pelvis and my shin, because my shin's not too conditioned, I'm not some Muay Thai pro, my shin hurt for the rest of the afternoon. So what ended up happening and why Jose stopped fighting me after he hit me in my iliac crest is because the way he landed the punch, I'm sure he actually hurt his knuckles as much as my pelvis was bruised from that strike. It's an insight that I didn't realize until many years later when I started actually getting into combat sports. In a way, I unintentionally hurt him. If he aimed anywhere else, he could have aimed at my face, he could have aimed at my abdomen, he could have aimed at my ribs, but he just happened to sort of be a little bit off with his strike. He hit a bone of mine that, yes, there's a lot of nerves there, but until you're 75 or 80, that's a very tough bone, and it's got an angle to it. So imagine punching the edge of a table, the corner of a table. That's basically what he did. I remember how hard that punch is, but I will guarantee you, Jose got into so many fights, right? So he might not remember this, but if that was the first time he ever punched someone that hard in that crest area of the ilium, he might have actually really remembered that, because that definitely hurt his fist, it hurt his knuckles. I hope you guys enjoyed this little reflection. I will definitely do more on fight commentary reactions. I've got so many of these stories, but I don't always want to tell them on the main channel because I don't know, algorithms and all that, so I'll tell them here. So guys, give me your fight stories, guys. Give me your fight stories. Okay guys, talk to you soon.